Today, we're taking a look at the Hoka Carbon X. 18.66 miles, 7 minutes, 44 seconds per mile today. A beautiful day for a run along the lakefront with a buddy for a Saturday long run in the Hoka Carbon X. Before we get to my thoughts on this shoe, I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a pair of shoes that I bought with my own money. No one's paying me to make the video, and no one's going to get a chance to edit or review any of the footage before it goes up on YouTube. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the Hoka Carbon X. What we've got in this shoe is Hoka's ProFly X foam, which is, according to them, their lightest and most resilient foam. And sandwiched in between the two layers of foam is a carbon fiber plate. And they have their early stage Meta Rocker in their midsole, which is essentially the feeling that you get as if you're kind of stepping off the edge of a stair. The whole idea with that, and with a lot of carbon fiber plates or this type of midsole design, is that it aids with your push off and gets you through ground contact back up on your toes or through your push off into your next stride quickly. In terms of the upper, what we've got is a super floppy upper, very thin, very breathable, with only a single layer, except for underneath the tongue, which is a little bit padded. There is a little bit of elastic holding the tongue in place and a very minimal amount of padding around the heel cup. There's very little cushion back here where the part that touches your ankle and Achilles, and then you've got a little bit of a pull tab on the back. To aid in a little bit of kind of structure back here in the heel, there is this what looks like zebra stripe stitching to give a little bit of extra reinforcement. And the only thing about this shoe that has given me problems is the laces. They are a bit on the thin side, and there's just too much of it. I don't know why so many shoes this year have extra long laces. It's kind of annoying. But some of you will remember that I already made a video about the Carbon X back when Fleet Feet and Hoka had an event earlier on this summer. And I tried the shoe on then, and it was a mile time trial event, and my shoes got untied within the first quarter mile. I had the same thing happen to me again with this shoe this time, although this time it took me about 5 miles before the shoes to become untied. But even though I had them double knotted, definitely had to stop, tie them again, this time with a triple knot, but that time it was fine. So that was the only hitch that I had with this shoe. It's been fitting me true to size. Back at that original Hoka event that I went to, I don't know if they had pre-production units or what was going on with the shoes they had there, but there they were recommending everyone go up half a size, and I definitely felt that the size 9 in the Hoka Carbon X that I tried on that day was very snug. I didn't get the sense in this one. I'm suspecting that it was kind of an early production, pre-production issue for these, and from what I've been hearing from people, it's been running true to size for the Carbon X. Now, in terms of the performance of this shoe, all I could say is it just works. Even though it's very different from a lot of the shoes that I run in, it doesn't feel like it's making me run different. It's not fighting against me. It's not trying to make my stride do something that it doesn't want to do. It's just a very smooth ride is probably the best way that I can describe it. A lot of times when I describe the Hoka Carbon X to people, I tell people that it's kind of like, I know none of us like being on ellipticals, but it's kind of like if you could run on an elliptical, that kind of smooth and fluidity, that's what I'm feeling as I'm running in this shoe. So I'm not feeling like a super strong push off from the carbon fiber plate. I'm not feeling a bunch of cushiony absorption of my impact when I land and hit the ground, but everything just works. I don't really notice the shoe at any one point. It's kind of like the invisible hand that's just guiding me through my gait cycle. And the way that they've designed this, I think they've done a really fantastic job. It's just a pleasure to be able to run in this shoe. I think the best way that I can kind of talk about it is to compare it against the other Hoka that I've been running in this year, which is a Carbon Rocket. Earlier on this year, I ran in the Carbon Rocket. I even won a 5K in that shoe, believe it or not. But the Hoka Carbon Rocket, I feel like it has also a carbon fiber plate, but it is just raw power. This is more of a refined performance compared to the Hoka Carbon Rocket, and I think that works out really well for its intended use. I think that I will be using this for a lot of long Saturday miles, long weekend miles, anything that I want to go longer and faster. So those harder workouts where not only am I going for a long amount of distance, but there's going to be some faster miles in there, faster 2-mile intervals in there. This is a shoe that I'm definitely going to be reaching for. And I can certainly see that because of the weight, it's pretty lightweight, that a lot of you guys are going to be racing your marathons this fall in this shoe. And I think that it's going to be an absolute great fit for that. In Chicago, Hoka's sponsoring the half marathon in September, so I imagine that I'll see a lot of these on people's feet there as well. Once you get down to the 10K distance though, or even the 10-mile distance, I'm thinking that maybe this isn't as good a fit, not because it's not a good shoe for that distance, but for that distance where it's shorter and your feet can handle it a little better. I think some of like that raw performance of the Carbon Rocket might be where I would draw the line and start looking for that shoe as my race day option if I want to stay in the Hoka line. Whereas this, I think, is definitely exactly well suited for those longer runs and those longer distance races. So this is a shoe that I'm gonna have no problem putting in a ton of miles in. Easily, this is one of my top 5 shoes of the year. This is just an absolutely fantastic shoe. I took it out of the box and ran 18 miles and change in it, and it was just an absolute dream. This is a shoe that just works. They've absolutely nailed it with this shoe. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the Hoka Carbon X. I'd love to talk to you guys more down there. And before I go, I do want to remind you guys about the charity runner for this week. This week it's Justin Gingerich, who's going to be running the New York City Marathon and raising money for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. I've been happy to donate $70 to Justin's fundraising efforts, and I'll post links in the description in case you'd like to learn more. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?